Let's talk about where the real movement is happening right now in terms of property prices. And it's not those blue chip inner city posh suburbs. It's the cheap suburbs that are absolutely flying here in Southeast Queensland. These are suburbs that are $800,000 or less, and I'm going to be giving you the tips to help you find your next hotspot location. Now, if you're looking to get in the market, either as an owner-occupier or an investor, make sure you stick around to the end of this video and make sure you drop a like to help me out to make more of this content where I will reveal to you the best opportunities at this point in time. So this is it, Greater Brisbane's hottest suburbs under 800K, and I'm pointing the wrong way, there you go. You get double Luke pointing to that 800K. Let's hit it, let's hit this list. So where are the hottest suburbs? You can see I've got some red flags north, south and west. And so we're going to be breaking down. You can see these green suburbs are the cheaper pockets. The yellow suburbs are middle priced and your red suburbs are your expensive location. So we're going to be looking for where these flags are to find the right locations. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, we need to lay down some ground rules around this search. So we are looking for a suburb 800K median or less. We are also wanting to get more than 10% growth out of these assets. We want a solid rental yield, ideally 4% plus in terms of the gross rental yield. Under 30 days on market, which means these markets are heating up in terms of the current demand, and they are still flying under the radar. You may never have thought about them, heard of them, seen them online, so I'm going to be revealing them to you today. In other words, these properties are cheap, growing fast, and have runway for success in the future. The first suburb on our list is Leichhardt, located in Ipswich City Council. Leichhardt is on the southwestern side of central Ipswich. The current median price for houses in Leichhardt sits at $641,000, and it surged 16.7% in the past 12 months. That is some serious growth, whoever you ask. Now, the reality is that these prices could go up another $200,000 or $300,000. I think houses in an area like Leichhardt in 3 or 4 years' time will sit around that $800,000 to $900,000. But you can still pick up homes in that $700,000 to $750,000 range at this point in time. Now, with the demand of the 5% deposit scheme fueling prices, this is going to push prices further. We're seeing days on market sit around 14 days on market at this point in time in this suburb, which means stock is moving ultra quick. 2 weeks is rapid in terms of property sales. So this is a hot market and it's got runway for growth. And I think it's undervalued because it does have access to the Ipswich CBD, access to the train line. It's not too far away from the Amberley base, so it is landlocked in terms of the location. And there are some good schools in the area as well. Now, this is a screenshot showing you the data backing up the position of the properties in this market, showing you that growth and the median price trends. And I genuinely expect this property trend to continue for this area towards that 800K price point. And the rental yields are still decent at 4.1%. So you're not getting a really compressed return at this point in time. But I think as the prices grow towards the 750, 850 range, you'll get more yield compression towards a 3.5%, which mirrors those other markets like Melbourne and Sydney as Brisbane becomes more established. And so on screen, we have a recent sale in this area that went for a crazy price. It was asking offers over $649,000. We looked at this property for a client. Unfortunately, we weren't successful because it wasn't the right price for us. This deal sold for $790,000. So I think it's going to be no matter of time, 6 to 12 months when those houses are going for $750,000 up to $850,000 and pushing into the 8s as a common price in this area, with runway in the next 2 to 3 years to get towards that $900,000 price based on the demand. These are landlocked locations, established houses, drivable side access you can see in the photos here. So opportunities are out there. And look at that, sold for the high 700s. The next suburb on our list is located in Logan, and this is Kingston. It's a hot suburb because it's one of the few areas that hasn't really come through in terms of prices until more recently. The data is showing us that the historical median house price was sitting at $700,000, and it's had 11.1% growth in the last 12 months. Now, that is a serious bump when we're hitting double digits in terms of growth. But again, this affordability, these properties are going to be in the 7s at the moment, now pushing into the 8s and the 9s in the near future. If we take a look at the data on screen, you can again see a very similar growth trajectory to that of Leichhardt. 700,000 in terms of the current median price as of September 2025, a 4.2% rental yield, 27 days on market with 41 houses available in the market, and massive buyer interest at this affordable price point. I'd be very surprised if this doesn't run to 800K in 12 months, because there is such demand at the affordable end of property here in Southeast Queensland. These affordable locations are hot, and they're going to run out of time of being more affordable in the next 12 to 24 months, in my opinion. So here's a wow factor. This property is on 774 square meters. It looks like a basic 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom home from these aerial shots, and it has that dual occupancy potential to build at the back. You could potentially, working with a town planner, maybe even strata title this site. So cost per square meter is about $1,000 a square, and this sold for essentially that price, $775,000 for a 774 square meter block. So $1,000 a square meter is quite a good deal in this location, because the 600 square meter blocks might still sell for $720 or $750. So for an extra 120, 150 square meters of land for only an extra 50 to 60K, that seems like good value to me, as long as you're buying with that underlying land value. In the future, I'm sure you'll be asking yourself, oh, I could have picked up one of those granny flat potential sites for under 800K within driving distance to Brisbane. Why didn't I do that? So don't be that person. We can help you buy those opportunities, or if you're doing this yourself, go out there and secure the right opportunity for you. Now we're moving to one of my favorite suburbs on this list, and that is in Moreton Bay, and it's a suburb called Kalanga. It's located in that Moreton Bay region, just north of Brizzy, and it has access to the train line. It has access to the Redcliffe Peninsula as well. It's really well located, surrounded by more expensive suburbs, so it's definitely one to watch. Looking at the data for Kalanga, you can see it's more expensive than all the other suburbs we've looked at so far, but it is in a premium area, being Moreton Bay Council. It's had a bit of a dip compared to the other price trends, but is now on a strong rise, up 12.5% in the past 12 months. 22 days on market means properties are flying. 4,158 interested buyers, and just shy of that 4% rental yield. So we're getting that yield compression in an area like Kalanga. Good amount of stock available at 73 houses, with 286 sold in the last 12 months. We recently bought a cracking deal for a client, Kamana, in this location on a corner block on 800 square meters, and he paid $720,000. And in my opinion, he probably underpaid about 50 to 60K based on the current market, and he'll be very happy with that deal. Yes, he's got renovation work ahead of him, but he bought a big block, corner access, granny flat potential, and value add on the home. Here's another interesting deal that we looked at for clients in the Kalanga region. This is one that might interest investors who are wanting multiple income streams out the gate straight away. This is actually a house and secondary dwelling, essentially 2 units, and it sold for $817,000. Now, the current rent on this dual occupancy essentially was $780 per week, which is over a 5% gross rental yield. The reality is the market rent for this property would be more like $850 per week, which would push it to that 5.5, getting closer to the 6% gross rental yield. Now, you can see it's next to a unit block and the road might be a little bit busy. So this is not an asset we bought for a client, but this is a deal that's out there that some people might be interested in buying. I personally would rather buy a house in a quieter street with granny flat potential and build the granny flat at a later date, but it's horses for courses. It's the right property for the right person, and this is an interesting deal to look at in the current market. If you want help buying in the Southeast Queensland region, head over to purposeproperty.com.au to check out our buyer's agency prices and process, and book in a 20-minute free chat with myself. So there you go. That is 3 suburbs under 800K at a medium price point, one in Moreton, one in Logan, and one in Ipswich that you could potentially buy in this market, which I think are primed for strong growth and have reasonable rental returns. There's going to be that buyer heat in those locations moving forward. Now, if you want to sign up as a client, we can give you our full list of exactly all the suburbs we're looking at a more affordable price point, and that is for clients only, to tell you where we are actively buying as buyers agents in this market. But hopefully this has given you some insights and been helpful to highlight some spots where there are opportunities at this point in time. If you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe to the channel down below, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.